Aurora, what to know before you sew. Hey sewing friend, welcome to the Love Notions channel where we talk all things patterns, sewing, and fabric. I'm Tessa, and today we have something special planned for you. This video is about everything you need to know before you sew that much anticipated Aurora dress and tunic sewing pattern. So this pattern just released, so let's get into everything you need to know to sew it. So let's talk about the basics first. The Aurora pattern is finally here, and its release sale is good through Monday, February 26th of 2024. This video is just going to help you really get to know the pattern on a different level with some kind of, maybe some zany segments with some specifics that will be helpful while you decide if this pattern is for you or to help you through sewing it. Maybe it's going to help you decide whether to add it to your collection or not. And there's even some like off the wall sections in here that will hopefully get you everything you need to know in a kind of a fun way. My favorite section so far is the flag section, the MVP section, and the wardrobe department section. So keep watching if you think those sound fun. If you have any other fun segment ideas for future pattern reviews, make sure that you leave me a note in the comment. And then make sure that you pick up your copy of the Aurora pattern ASAP so that you can get a great price as you work hard to get Aurora into your wardrobe. One thing that we did want to mention to everybody is that we're kind of doing a fun little event with the release. There's so many people who just like eagerly attack a pattern as soon as it comes out. And we know that there'll be several of you who just dive in right away. And we kind of want to give you guys a kudos. So if you share your make, tag it with Love Notions, and then also put in the hashtag Sewitfirst LN, you could get entered to win a big old prize from Love Notions just to say thank you for sharing your work and diving right in. So can't wait to see who's going to get into this pattern and what you guys all think of it. The reception to it from like our preliminary sort of previews has been so positive, and we just can't wait to see what you guys do with it. So thank you so much for sharing your makes with us. We just love to see it. Okay, so let's get going with everything you need to know before you sew. And the first segment that we're going to be doing is called wardrobe department. So just like in order to get like a preliminary kind of general feel for this pattern, let's imagine that the new Aurora dress and tunic pattern, that it was made up and it was in the wardrobe of a character in history or pop culture. So who would wear it? I have two ideas of people that come to mind, but please let me know of another character or person, especially if someone pops into your mind when you see Aurora made up. Let me know what you see. So first up, Shiv Roy from Succession. So Aurora is exactly the tailored, modern, structured look that this powerhouse character would totally go for. You got the sleek lines, the elevated style, the fitting of the darts on the back of the dress, those ingenious embedded slant pockets. Aurora has a look that like, it just kind of screams in charge. And it also screams like quiet luxury. And those are terms that are really associated with Shiv Roy. Next, I also feel like Kate Middleton would wear this dress. She is so understated, classy, sophisticated, sensible, modest, and that's what Aurora is. So pretty and so stylish, but practical because as a mom with littles, she needs pockets. And Aurora would be the smart go-to dress that you would totally find inside her closet. And is it a coincidence that they're called princess seams? I don't think so. So the Aurora has princess seams that really fit into that style. We also have some honorable mentions for journalist Robin Roberts. She's got like that polished sheath dress sort of vibe, which Aurora fits perfectly. Maybe even Viola Davis with that like lawyer type energy. And then definitely Claire Underwood from the House of Cards show. Like that whole like scheming politician feel. It fits because this dress has a chic silhouette, but it also has like a I'm in charge attitude. It's classic and sophisticated and maybe even a little bit intimidating. which might not be a bad thing. Next, let's talk about the green, red, and beige flags that you're gonna see with this pattern. Flags are kind of like a way in our, pop culture right now to discuss some of the signs that you should note that might help you make some decisions. And with our situation, they're gonna help you decide if this pattern is right for you. So green flags mean you're good to go, or maybe like you're good to sew. Red flags mean you maybe want to pass this one. And beige flags are just some things that might make you go, and maybe they mean you just want to learn some more. So they're neither good nor bad, they're kind of neutral. So here are some green flags or some signs that you're good to go for this sewing pattern. You need a dress pattern that is a one-piece, no-brainer workhorse in your closet. That's Aurora. Another green flag for you might be that you like to have a tailored dress that gives you some shaping opportunities, that's got a really nice balance between a tailored fit, but it's not gonna be extra tight, and then on the other hand, it's not gonna look sloppy. So it's got a really nice balance of that. So tailored, but not overly tight. Another green flag for you might be if you want a pattern that is more interesting than your general sheath dress. It's got some unique details, but it's not overly done up. And it does not use a lot of fabric. So if those are things you're looking for, this is a green flag for you. Another green flag for a lot of people is going to be that it gives pockets in a dress. Some people do not want pockets in a dress. They do not want the droopiness problem. This dress allows you to have pockets without the droopiness. So if you identify with some, all, any of those, then this pattern is probably something that you're going to want to pick up. So those are green flags. Now let's talk about some red flags or some signs that this pattern is probably not a good fit for you. This pattern is probably not a good fit for you. This is a red flag. If you are a super newbie sewer, or maybe you've only sewn with wovens, this is a knit pattern. It's got some knit techniques inside of it that might be tricky. Another red flag might be if you only have thin knits with poor recovery, red flag. No. And another red flag would be if you just don't wear dresses or tunics, pass on this pattern. This isn't for you. So those are all red flags, and that's totally okay. There are lots of other patterns in the Love Notions library that might be 100% green for you right now. And maybe in the future, you'll have some green flags with this pattern. So no hard feelings, I promise. Next, let's take a look at a few beige flags. These aren't really signs about whether you'll love it or not. It's just some neutral quirkiness or things that you might find interesting that might encourage you to look for more information about it. So one of the first beige flags, I guess, is that Aurora's pattern name comes from a city near Chicago, and that's where Love Notions is based. So that's just a little bit about the pattern origin story. Another pattern origin story component is that the pattern, funnily enough, it went through the development process in record time, so fast. It was just a really quick and smooth process to get it from Tammy's idea to the design. Putting that all together, it just went so quickly. And that always makes Tammy happy because some patterns take just a ton of tinkering before being able to send it over to testers. And it doesn't mean that those patterns are worse or better. It's just something that I've noted and I thought was super interesting. So it's a beige flag. Another thing is that Aurora is just one of a few Love Notions patterns that use a really specific design and sewing technique to achieve those embedded pockets. I would say that Whistler pullover is really similar. Octave coat is similar, and the Metro blazer is really similar in that the pockets are embedded inside of a princess seam or around it. And I kind of would call this a repeating theme, a style theme inside of the Love Notions library. And some people really, really love it. So that's just something to note. I also would note that the neckline of the Aurora is really similar to the Olympia dress. They're not the same, not constructed the same, but they have both a very, very similar vibe. They both have 2 layers and they give a really sleek finished V-neck look. The difference is that Olympia has just that middle down the line down the middle separating the bodice pieces in the center. And Aurora has like that inset piece, but I just kind of see some echoes of the V-neck in Aurora and Olympia. So if you liked Olympia, you might like Aurora, but who knows? Aurora, which is a knit pattern, it also has like an inset piece, and maybe a beige flag is that that's similar to the Presto Tunic, which is a pattern for wovens. And I think those are the only two patterns in the Love Notions collection that have an inset piece just like that. So just something fun to note, little similarity there. So those are beige flags. They might be of note for you, so do with them what you will. But if you had some green flags, you should probably go take a look at the pattern. If you had some red flags, then you could just move on, okay? Next, let's talk about what's in our stash or in our cart. So, fabric time. I rummaged through our stash and I found 5 fabrics that I cannot wait to pair with Aurora, and maybe they'll give you some ideas about what you have in your stash to pair with your Aurora pattern as well. From a simple ponte to a textured Liverpool, all of the fabrics that I have up here would be great for this pattern. I highly suggest some double knits. They're a great choice because they have, they offer a lot more structure when you're sewing. So you're going to be able to get some nice drape, especially if you're looking at that cute ruched sleeve option. But I would look at double knits, and you could definitely watch my most recent video about scuba fabric. It is a really fantastic idea for this pattern, and I even have some sewing tips in that video that you might want to use, so take a look back at that video. So here are 5 fabrics in our stash right now that I think would make a great Aurora. And if I had time, I would probably make an Aurora out of each one of these fabrics. So let's dive in. So first of all, ponte would be absolutely perfect. We in our stash right now have rolls of ponte that we were planning to use for a retreat, I think, to make Sabrina Slims. And I just am so into the idea of a solid ponte because it's going to let those style lines where the inset pieces and the princess seams, it's going to let those style lines really show. And because it's ponte, it's structured, it's going to be able to hold up to the requirements of the pattern, okay? So ponte would be great. We have so many colors of ponte right now. And in fact, I sewed a purple ponte that I'll show you later that I think is a great use of ponte with a pattern, just like a really great marrying of pattern with fabric. Another fabric that I'm really into is this, I don't know what you would call this. It's like heathered, but it's sort of like speckled. It's sort of textured. This is a French terry. And this French terry is a little bit on the thicker side. So I think it could stand up to it. So it's got horizontal and vertical stretch for sure, but not like overly so. So I think it would stand up. And I think this would make like a really great casual make, maybe like a tunic of the Aurora. Another fabric that we have in our stash right now is this really interesting one. I think you might call this a jacquard. It's definitely textured and it's really soft and it's got really nice drape to it. And I think that this would be resilient enough to stand up to those style lines. So I think this would make a great piece for an Aurora dress. Now, another fabric here is this, I think it's like embellished or embossed scuba fabric. I think they call this one a techno scuba. And it's kind of got like this foil sort of floral print on it. And it's got like a navy background. Unfortunately, I only have 1 yard of this, but I think if I had 2, I would probably make an Aurora out of it. I think this would be a really cute short sleeved, kind of like a spring dress, maybe like an Easter dress. This would be really cute for Aurora. And then another fabric that we have in our stash is Liverpool. We have lots of Liverpool. It's textured, it's drapey, but it's got pretty good recovery. So again, this is going to be the type of fabric that I would definitely use for an Aurora. And then I have had my eye on this. I think I'm over 5 at this point, but another fabric that I have in our stash right now is this like kind of like a tight weave sweater knit. It's got pretty good stretch and recovery. But I don't know if you can see it. It's almost like a tweed, sort of like herringbone fabric. It's super soft, but it's still, I think, would hold up to like the structure of the dress. But I feel like this would be such a great workwear outfit because it's just like so polished and professional. It would really like dress it up, but it would just look very much like boss energy with this really classic sort of style of fabric. It's really nice. I like this one. So that's the in our stash section to talk about the Aurora pattern. So those are things we currently have that I think would just off the top of my head would make a great Aurora. Pin-worthy outfits. So where can this dress go? So obviously fabric makes a huge difference in where you wear this pattern, but here are some of my plans about where to wear it that I think would make pin-worthy outfits. First, this purple ponte. I would pair this with some espadrille sandals, maybe with a loose weave boyfriend cardigan, some simple accessories like a pair of sunnies and a crossbody purse. Casual, cute, polished, perfect. Another one is this Easter Sunday make. This is in scuba. I would keep my hair pulled back with a low loose bun. I would wear black heels that can handle walking through grass to find eggs. And I think this will work with any weather, but you could wear it with a cardigan, the octave coat, or just on its own because you never know what weather will be like in April in Chicago. But the pattern has pockets, so it's going to be ideal for carrying around some eggs. And last, I was thinking about making a tunic version in that French terry, that speckled version. I think it would be so festive. I recently volunteered in my daughter's class, and I wish I had something to pair with leggings and some white tennis shoes that would be like really practical. And I think that that would be that sort of outfit. So these are the outfits that I would probably pin to my Pinterest board while I'm envisioning putting together an Aurora dress or tunic outfit. Next, let's talk about the MVP of the pattern. Will it be the interfacing? Will it be the layout of the pattern? Will it be the step number 7? Let's see what I picked for the MVP of the pattern. So because every project has its hero, for the Aurora, in my opinion, the MVP of the pattern is the neckline. So I think the neckline wins it. First of all, it is the easiest neckline construction for such a smooth and pretty finish. I highly suggest using that bias tape finish for the back of the neckline. It makes such an impact. And I love that the inset piece for the neckline is only lined. So that's the only lining part. And so there's no extra weight dragging everything down, but that neckline style is completely opaque and strong enough to carry everything else. And so I just love it. I really like the height of the V-neck neckline. It's so hard to get that right in the right spot for so many people, but I just love where it hits, and it seems to be like a winner on so many different types of people and different body types. So let me know if you agree with my MVP choice or if you have another MVP of the pattern in mind. I really love the neckline. Next, let's talk about how to speed it up or step it up. Maybe you're in a hurry and you're not really caring so much about making it perfect. Maybe you want it perfect and you want to take it slow. So here are some steps to either slow it down or speed it up. To speed up your sewing process, I would suggest skipping that bias binding for the neckline. Just overcast, then serge, and top stitch. Just make it simple. You can make it faster by skipping the ruche sleeve option. That gives a little bit extra sewing step. And if you've got some really nice, good recovery fabric, you could probably skip the interfacing steps. Another way to go a little faster is to just use a sewing machine and not really worry about an overcast stitch or serging. This is knit, so all of your stitches are going to be good to go as long as they're secure. So a sewing machine will totally help you out. Now, if you want to slow it down and really get a precise professional make and end up with a knockout final piece and you're willing to take your time, I think your best bet is going to be in fitting. Carefully look at that measurement chart, especially the finished measurement charts. Take really accurate measurements of yourself and make a muslin. Slow it down. That obviously means that it's going to take you some extra time to decide where you're going to shorten or lengthen or where you're going to blend. In my case, I did take some time. I'm really short-waisted, so I took my time to find the exact perfect spot for me for the bottom of the inset piece to hit right at my natural waist. So I actually ended up shortening the bodice pieces by 1 inch. And that made a really big impact for me. And luckily, the pattern included those shorten and lengthen lines. I'm only 5'2", and I have short legs. So I decided to not only shorten the bodice, but I also shortened the skirt by 2 inches. And those tweaks made such a big difference. And right now for me, I just do a lot of those things naturally. And you might want to take some time to really figure those things out and do all of that preliminary fitting and adjustment work beforehand, and then really step up your final project. And then finally, my bust measurements put me in a medium and my hips in a large. So I had to carefully blend my sizes to end up with a piece that fits me like a glove. And I think I ended up with that. I'm so happy with it. For most people, nailing the fit means that you're going to want to make a muslin, and you're going to want to make a muslin in similar fabric. And that will really allow you to slow down and savor the process. Our next segment is, how do we feel? The reviews are in from our community, and it's buzzing with some of the interesting, funny, and relatable things that you all are saying when we initially previewed Aurora. So here are a few things that we think you'll appreciate. Shannon said, "This is a dictionary definition of a teacher's dress. Gonna get it and make it a few for next year when she's in teacher training. Gorgeous." Christy said, "I need a dress for a wedding coming up, and this would definitely look nice for a special occasion dress." I totally agree with you, Christy. And Lauren said, "Oh yes, I need this in my work wardrobe." Agree. Ella said, "I love everything about this dress. Sleeves, neckline, front detail. Dresses make my heart sing." Michelle said, "What a great silhouette this dress has. Those deep pockets are just so practical. I can't wait till it's released. What a fantastic pattern. I'm looking forward to sewing it, and I love those pockets." So the next ladies wear pattern's name is Crescendo. So leave your guesses in the comment section about what you think this kind of garment will be. Plus, coming soon is the base clef and the treble clef, which match the ladies wear clef coat. I'm actually working on my family's coats right now. I cannot wait to deliver on their request because each of them begged me for their own version after I wore my clef coat home. So I can't wait to give that to them, and I'm sure that your family will love it too. That's a wrap for today's episode of what you should know before you sew the new Aurora tunic and dress. Thank you so much for joining us on this Aurora sewing adventure. And thanks for taking a look at Aurora and picking up your copy of the pattern ASAP. Don't miss out on that sale price. Please follow us for more updates. And as always, happy sewing.